Hey guys, welcome back. It's Tommy with another Starcraft replay for you, as once again we have a great international engagement in between the two pro players from the international scene. Let me just start by introducing the players to you guys, as we have spawning here in the upper left in the blue. It is ASTREA from the United States of America, and his opponent spawning here in the lower right in the red. It is SERRAL from Finland, the current world champion, as he's spawning here as the Zerg. So Zerg versus Protoss it is here on Moondance. Let's just see exactly what the two players have prepared for us, and by the looks of it, ASTREA already moving out very early with his probe, very likely indicating to us that he wants indeed to cancel here the first expansion point from SERRAL, so SERRAL has to pick up another point here. So this just buys a couple of seconds of an advantage here towards the Protoss. So nicely executed here by him. SERRAL has to move into another location. Let's just check the build order from the Protoss really quick. Island into gateway, and actually a double gateway build order, so something out of the ordinary here. Usually it's just one gateway into gas and then a cybernetics core, but we do have a double gateway, so we might see an early aggression by ASTREA here versus SERRAL. See how SERRAL is going to react to that, as he's now going for his extractor and for his spawning pool. So yeah, really soon this overlord is going to check out the proximity, is going to see a double gateway build order, and yeah, the first zealots are actually being produced here by ASTREA. And let's just see if he's going to commit into this strategy. He's going to make more and more of those zealots, and he also adds a cybernetics core, so we might see a zealot with a stalker rush very soon about to happen here against SERRAL. But yeah, SERRAL, like I told you, as his overlord, there are those zealots being chrono boosted out, so SERRAL knows now what exactly is up. As a second zealot is being produced, just a cybernetics core, no fast expansion attempt here for ASTREA, so it's pretty early rush, and he even adds a pylon into this location. However, he has no forge, or at least I don't see a forge here. No, so yeah, no forge for him. He's just adding one pylon. Perhaps he's going to go for his warp gate sorry, really soon, just to teleport some units into this next proximity. So very strong strategy here by the Protoss, unusual strategy here versus SERRAL. SERRAL already under attack here, under siege by the zealots, and more zealots will follow up. Let's just also follow the production tab. Some adepts are actually being produced now by ASTREA, and yeah, more zealots will follow. 3 zealots early on. SERRAL tries of course to go for a surround. He has to wait for his queens, but yeah, the first queen might get surrounded by the zealots. And yeah, the first adepts also shading here forward. So very strong attack here. Nice abusement here by ASTREA, showing us the early potential here of the Protoss, and the queen might get surrounded here. This would be a huge pickup by ASTREA versus the Finnish player, and yet the queen taking quite some damage. Nice pickup here by him, as the queen is dropping very low, and it is gate taken out. And as soon as the warp gate is going to be finished, the Protoss can of course teleport those units next to this one pylon. So just such a nice strategic pylon, and the hatchery now taking quite some beating here, so much damage being taken here by SERRAL. One queen on the high ground also dealing quite some great damage. A nice surround attempt here by SERRAL, as some zealots will fall, 2 of them. But in the end, I believe SERRAL is going to hold before warp is being done, so nicely done here by him. Still leaves this one pylon alive, and yeah, more adepts are being produced, as ASTREA now goes for his fast expansion. But yeah, he might also try to teleport some units here. Let's see SERRAL with the counter attack with those Zerglings. If he's going to snipe somehow this pylon, he's going to unpower everything here. But there is one adept at home who can hold this location. Actually, the second adept also nicely shading out, as we also have a shield battery, so ASTREA should be fine here. Let's see, one adept dropping very much low, but yeah, he's shading out of danger, and yeah, ASTREA holds his ground. And yeah, such a nice early strategy here by the Protoss, very rarely seen. Also took me by surprise. Double gateway into zealots and adepts, no stalkers by him. And yeah, now things have finally settled down a little bit. We do have some sentries out, as ASTREA is going to hunt down this overlord, also expanding into this location. Nice strategy here by the player from the States, taking us quite by surprise here. So yeah, let's just see what the next buildings are going to be. SERRAL also going for a later second expansion, of course. This has been delayed due to that early aggression. And yeah, no other buildings for him, no Baning's Nest yet, no Roach Warren. Oh, actually there is that one Roach Warren around the 4 minute and 30-second marks. Yeah, nicely done by him. ASTREA also expanding here into this location. SERRAL not taking yet this location, just focusing on to spreading more of that creep really nicely with his one's queens. Then yeah, we've just passed the 5-minute mark, and ASTREA is going to play it, of course, pretty much safe now. He's going to add more and more probes, currently both of them at 40 probes each. And we even see an illusion coming here forward, and that illusion actually seeing the tier 2 upgrade by SERRAL. SERRAL might go into some Mutalisk, it would be an interesting idea. You could also add some Lurkers, some Hydras, also see some Infestors, some Vipers. Let's just see what exactly his options are versus ASTREA. And ASTREA going for his blink, going for his weapons one, so we might see a transition by him as well into mass stalkers. It could be a possibility. Only 2 gates are still here operating for the Protoss, as SERRAL tries of course to hide his units, just patrolling the near proximity by the Protoss, so just leaves 1 Zerglings everywhere, and yeah, just to have as much detection as possible. So nice job here by him. We actually see a robotics facility base, so it could be a war prism drop. Still only those 2 gateways up for ASTREA. Very interesting stuff by him, as he's just scouting more and more the proximity here for the Zerg. And yeah, the same can be said here by SERRAL. Nice beeline being formed with those Zerglings, with even the roaches here. And yeah, we even have an Overseer, so it might be even a Nidoswarm attempt by SERRAL. Let's just see what exactly he's going for. We see more and more roaches are being built, and we actually see some gateways being hidden in the back by ASTREA, just to add that War Prism attack towards SERRAL. And we also see those upgrades being chrono boosted, the War Prism and more gateways, so this might be a timing push around the 10, even around the 8-minute mark, with some Stalkers, with some War Prisms. And yeah, the Overseer does see this nicely, so SERRAL pretty much now knows what is coming towards his way. This one War Prism will be, of course, the force that can teleport those units from the Protoss towards SERRAL. So yeah, there it is. There's that timing push around the 7-minute mark here by ASTREA. We're playing really nicely here versus the world champion, being very much aggressive. SERRAL has to go into those Ravagers. Some Zerglings are on the ground here to defend. So such a nice game here by the Protoss player. He has the high ground, so he has the advantage. At the same time, he can now teleport his units, so more and more of those reinforcements will be globally present here versus SERRAL. Let's see if SERRAL can hold. So many Ravagers are being produced by him. But yeah, in comes ASTREA, and he's looking like he's going straight for this one hatchery. So many Stalker sentries are also really important. Some fireballs have been added, but yeah, more and more of those gateway units are being teleported here forward. Even a nice blink. So yeah, ASTREA with a quite strong force here versus the world champion, keeping him at bay. Even an observer just to cancel those reap eggs. Yeah, ASTREA showing us quite a very strong and aggressive gameplay here. Might even try to snap this one hatchery, it would be really great, but there's so many roaches, so many Zerglings on the ground. At the same time, a nice try to counter here by SERRAL, but just a couple of Zerglings should be held off. So yeah, ASTREA just snapping this one hatchery, now deciding to pull back. Of course, he's waiting for an attack by SERRAL, and yeah, it might be an attack here with some Zerglings, with some Ravagers and those roaches, but at the same time ASTREA also expanding into this location, so all of a sudden playing very safe, having such a large amount of Stalkers, looking really strong versus SERRAL. SERRAL in the meantime taking this expansion, and at the same time he might very likely also take this expansion into this point. So this could be the strategy from now on. ASTREA is just going to poke forward and just try to snap those expansion points by his enemy. And yeah, let's see, SERRAL tries to go for a surround, but there's a blink away and a nice force fields being added here by ASTREA, just to keep SERRAL at bay. So yeah, let's see, SERRAL tries to come here forward with some Zerglings, but he might get surrounded, so he might just try to sacrifice those Zerglings against so many units. And yeah, ASTREA with a nice hold, securing here his expansion points as we're closing at the 10-minute mark. So quite an interesting game that has calmed down a little bit, and yeah, both players playing a little bit more defensively now, a little bit more calculated, as yeah, both players are closing in at the 200 supply block here. So SERRAL already with 108 of an army, but yeah, in comes ASTREA, and he now has some disruptors, so the disruptors will be really strong against so many Zerglings and roaches. Let's see, we do see once again the War Prism being hidden with some Zealots in the back, but hold on, in the middle we have a nice engagement. However, this is getting nicely intercepted by those Queens. So SERRAL with a quite strong move out here. Widow Squid expecting of course a drop. So nice job here by the world champion. With a great creep spread. I believe he even saw of course the move out with his overlords. So yeah, ASTREA quite losing a strong force there. 4 zealots and a war prism. Nicely getting snapped here by SERRAL. So SERRAL pretty much in a great move now. Let's see what exactly he has been added. Some station pit, so he will have some fungus available against all of those stalkers. So we might even see some mind control. It would be very interesting to see them mind control those disruptors into this location. So yeah, let's just see what the units are. We actually see some lurkers, so it could be fungal with lurkers. We've seen this by SERRAL versus the Terran. Let's see if this is going to work versus the Protoss as well. And we also see a drop attempt here by him with this one overlord. Same can be set here by ASTREA with his war prism. Let's see what those 2 lurkers can do into this location as more and more gateway. Oh, actually we see a transition into stargates, so we might see some carriers really soon. So in comes this one overlord with those 2 lurkers. This could be really deadly. Let's see at the same time an attack here by SERRAL just to keep ASTREA at bay. And there's that one nice borrow, making it really hard for ASTREA to react, but still a great reaction. Second borrow here, so nice job here by SERRAL, damaging the economy from ASTREA really nicely. But still no workers. Actually 5 workers, 6 workers have been killed now. So nice job. Let's see what ASTREA can do here. Ionic Storm is also being done, so 9 workers have been snapped just by a couple of lone lurkers here, and the lurkers are still pretty much alive as the observer has to come in. So SERRAL just pretty much attacking in all of those fronts, snapping as many workers as he can, just with a couple of lurkers here, and even sniping some units. So nice job. Still this one lurker finally getting snapped, but 12 workers have been killed here, and SERRAL still has some lurkers into these locations. Nice harassment here by the world champion. Those stalkers look really hurt. They are in the red, and yeah, we even have some vipers now, so we might see some harpoons, we might see some blinding clouds as SERRAL just keeps pushing forward towards his enemy. And yeah, those disruptors are of course very much important for ASTREA, as we see now a transition straight into carriers. So yeah, SERRAL pretty much has to react to that with corruptors. Very likely we see some bangs, but I guess he's not going to wait. He's just trying to push here forward versus the cannons, versus the zealots. But yeah, there's so many stalkers here by ASTREA, so he's going to hold this defense really nicely. Economy looking really strong for SERRAL. 84 workers, 12 have been sniped against ASTREA, so ASTREA struggling a little bit with his economy right now as we slowly but steadily closing at the 15-minute mark. Let's see what the next steps are going to be. Still mass stalkers, and let's see how those carriers are going to work out for ASTREA, as we once again see this one lone lurker coming here forward. So we have an engagement here with Psionic Storm now by ASTREA, so nice job here by him, snapping so many of those units, really greatly used. And yeah, nice hold, but in the end, sadly for him, his Nexus has fallen, so he's blinking forward just to snap those Ravagers, but in the end, sadly he has to give up that Nexus. At the same time, this one lurker not being borrowed here, so an interesting mistake by SERRAL. It happens of course, as this lurker just stays here, just chills here next to this one Stargate, and finally he borrowing him, so the ASTREA now finally reacting. So interesting mistake, of course it happens. We are all humans, and the world champion also showing us that he's only human. So yeah, nice stuff here by both players. And let's see what a transition we're going to have by SERRAL. This is going to be seeing the carrier. He has to go for those corruptors, or it should be corruptors. Yes, indeed, there are those corruptors out by SERRAL. Some vipers with blinding clouds with the other spells that does splash damage would also be much used, much needed here for the world champions. And there from the Bane is just going straight for those cannons. But the carriers are here to respond. Still quite a large amount of cannons has fallen, and we have a great number of carriers, 5 of them, but they need to be used really quick, not to allow the Zerg to go into mass corruptors. So let's see when exactly ASTREA is going to take his chance. He's going to take this amount to attack, and we see so many corruptors, and at the same time there's the response here for SERRAL against mass carriers. It is going to be mass spores by him, so quite an interesting idea. He can of course route those force into other locations just to give backup for his units. And yeah, in comes ASTREA with his response. So many lurkers are here to defend as well. So nice interesting job here by SERRAL as his spores are about to get finished here, but ASTREA is not going to wait so long. Just going to attack here. Still SERRAL holding his ground. Some spores have been finished, 4 of them. And yeah, they will be really crucial to kill all of those interceptors by ASTREA. We also see some immortals, also quite a strong force in the late game. And yeah, the spores are now getting snapped by stalkers. Quite an interesting view here. So yeah, let's just see what exactly is going to happen here. Those carriers are really strong, but they're not so mobile, so you can cast fungals, you can cast parasitic bombs against them, and you will deal quite a great amount of damage. I guess this is exactly why ASTREA goes for some Archons. A great mix of units. Archons it is here for ASTREA, just to back up the units him. So interesting and defensive gameplay now here by the world champion versus ASTREA. ASTREA tries to attack on 2 fronts. Let's see how this is going to work out, as some banings will be intercepted here. So nice job by ASTREA. At the same time, he's perhaps going to try to snap this expansion. There's so many spine crawlers and even lurkers, so he has to teleport back home. In the end, taking quite some great amounts of damage. Yeah, all of those stalkers are pretty much into red, as yeah, in comes ASTREA's fleet. And let's see what exactly is going to happen here. More and more carriers are being added. Not that many are being produced. We see, however, some high templars being produced, as he might go into more and more of those Archons. Archons really strong against those corruptors. And all of a sudden we see SERRAL now attacking with Zerglings, with lurkers towards ASTREA. So ASTREA not really prepared for that. He did teleport back home. His stalkers are pretty much hurt. Some lurkers still deal damage. Interesting enough, not that many workers have fallen, but still the Zerglings are pretty much alive. And the ASTREA pushing forward with his Archons in the front, supposed to deal that splash damage. But yeah, sadly here for ASTREA, he did lose 22 workers, so he's in a little bit of trouble economic wise. He's dropped to 56. They're pretty much punishing him with that teleport, but still his army is so strong. So many Archons in the front, but we also have an interesting spine crawler and spore gameplay here by SERRAL. Nice harpoons here by SERRAL as well. This is also using that orange dark swarm looking like spell to get more and more tankiness. However, the army from ASTREA is still so strong. Those Archons are so much tanky, and they will deal so much splash damage here against SERRAL. SERRAL a little bit clumsy here, losing some units, using some workers. And the income, the feedbacks against those infestors. Nice fungals as well. And more units are being produced here by ASTREA as he's pushing forward with his stalkers. Immortals are still pretty much alive. Archons are really crucial here for the player from the States, so he's taking out more and more of the units from SERRAL. So SERRAL all of a sudden in quite some trouble, as those Archons will of course melt those banelings, and yeah, the corruptors also take quite some damage now. But is there enough anti-air here just to protect those carriers? There are some stalkers, but interesting enough, they don't damage the corruptors in the air. So yeah, just the hydras, but in the end ASTREA is going to hold his ground. And yeah, nice job here by him. But yeah, we have a transition now by SERRAL into hydras. So hydras, of course, quite a strong force against air and ground. And the ASTREA still pushes here forward. Lurkers are still there to hold the ground, and we also see some banelings being produced by SERRAL. Let's see what those banelings can do against the economy from ASTREA. They're rolling in. We are sadly not reacting here, so 17 workers have fallen. He's teleporting some units back home. But yeah, SERRAL now having so many hydras here to defend. Just a couple of areas and some immortals on the ground. Still more and more interceptors are being lost here by ASTREA. And yeah, he's now trying to snipe this one expansion, sadly for him not being successful. And yeah, SERRAL nicely kiting those hydras back and forward. Some hydras will fall. But it looks like there's so many hydras being left for SERRAL. There's not that many interceptors are being left here for ASTREA, sadly, so he has to retreat a little bit. In the in comes a surrounding maneuver. Even those drones try to surround some units here, so quite a panic move here by the world champion. And yeah, finally ASTREA is going to teleport back home. This almost one carrier has been lost, so we are closing at the 20-minute mark. A very interesting game, a nice back and forward game, and quite strong economic advantages and damages against each other. 50 workers for ASTREA and 57 here for SERRAL, so still more and more workers are getting sniped. And SERRAL has to retreat now, and yeah, just give a break here towards both players. So we have a regroup going on. We still have some lurkers being produced, but the hydras have proved to be quite efficient against those carriers. And yeah, Let's see what's going to happen. So in the end, 49 workers for ASTREA, 57 for SERRAL. Quite a balanced game, quite a strong game here by ASTREA. But sadly for him, he has lost once again a dropship there. So interesting enough, we see now mass Hydras here being, some of them are being transformed into lurkers. And let's see when exactly, or if he's going to attack. ASTREA looking to be more defensive mood now, but he's going for those Archons, and those Archons have proven so strong against SERRAL. And we even have 6 High Templars now, so Psionic Storm will be available. Psionic Storm really strong against those units. And is SERRAL really going to commit here against so many High Templars and so many Archons? We're about to find out really soon, as the lurkers are in position. More and more Hydras have been added. SERRAL really wants to finish this game, but in the end he's going to face so many those Archons and High Templars in a great position. Nice Psionic Storm, dealing so much splash damage. See the roaches in the front, but they will be sniped really soon. Hydras are attacking as well. Yes, some interceptors have fallen here as well. The lurkers are in position. The High Templars is going to have a little bit of trouble into attacking. And yeah, nice beeline being formed here by SERRAL with so many lurkers in the front, Hydras in the back just to snap those interceptors. And yeah, ASTREA really needs so many High Templar Storm now. Archons are in the front, Zergs are in the front here as well. So many great High Templar Storms here. Nice micro here by SERRAL, but in the end, let's just see what exactly is going to happen here. So many units have been damaged. Nice parasitic bomb, just dealing more and more splash damage. Not that many units are being left here for SERRAL, but still those Hydras are nicely being kited back and forth as they are able to snipe one unit after the other, one carrier after the other. And in the end, GG well play is being called here by ASTREA. In the end, SERRAL just proving to be a little bit too strong. At one point I was thinking that ASTREA is going to hold with so many Archons, but yeah, the number of Hydras were so much high here for SERRAL. So quite an interesting game, especially in the early minutes of the game. A quite strong game by ASTREA early on, harassing SERRAL really nicely with those zealots. And yeah, almost defeating him. If that warp would have been finished, would have of course warped all of those zealots and all of those adepts. So quite an interesting strategy by him. Double gateway early on, no fast expansion taking us by surprise. But yeah, in the end, the mix of units here by SERRAL against those carriers, the lurkers for the ground, some fungus have been casted, and the parasitic bomb was the great counter against those carriers. Carriers of course don't move that fast, so as a Zerg you can cast fungus and parasitic bombs against it, and it's going to be really strong and effective, just like SERRAL has shown us into this game. So yeah, nice game. We can also see the losses, quite balanced losses here for both players, and great upgrades here by both of them, looking really nice here. Nice pictures of upgrades. So yeah, nice game. Once again, I hope you enjoyed. We'll be seeing you of course in the next few plays. This is Tommy signing out.